In this class we want to talk about marketing planning. In fact, what we want to do is to look more towards marketing planning documentation and look at the various areas of marketing planning and the type of information that needs to be picked up, which would of course ultimately end up in some documentation which will help to drive the whole process. But let's start by setting out some ideas about marketing planning. A marketing plan is a documentation that illustrates the market position and the strategy. So really a marketing plan is a formalized document of the business. It's a plan, and it's articulated. It's written down, it's discussed, it's agreed. And it illustrates the market position of the business, where the business is currently, and its strategy, what it wants to do and how it's going to do it and what it hopes to achieve. A marketing plan is a detailed plan which covers a period of, let's say, 1 to 3 years. So a marketing plan is quite detailed. It talks about perhaps particular areas that need geographic areas that need attention, or the demographics of certain areas, or the customer base that it's aiming at, and it may look at various aspects of the overall marketing effort within particular areas or aimed at particular segments of the market. So the marketing plan can be quite detailed, and that's why it normally is a carefully considered document, one that's carefully been thought about and worked before it is implemented. The marketing plan is, if you like, an extraction from the strategic planning process. Strategic planning is talking about the business in total, where it should be and what it wants to achieve in a certain time period. And the marketing planning documentation and the marketing plan itself is extracted from the strategic plan. It comes from the strategic plan. It looks at what needs to be done in terms of the marketing effort and how to maximize the marketing resources, the effectiveness of the marketing resources to achieve outputs that are in line with the strategic requirements of the business. So the marketing department formalizes plans in order to achieve functional objectives, in effect achieving corporate aims. So what the marketing department does is it looks at the plans, it develops the plans in line with the strategic objectives of the business, and then it tries to devise practical objectives, practical processes which will help to achieve the outcomes that will help to achieve the strategic objectives. So, in other words, out of this we get this picture of the strategic plan of the business, where the business wants to be in, say, 5 years' time, what markets it wants to be in, what products it wants to be producing, and so on. So that's a picture that it wants to develop, let's say, over a 5-year period. Within that, and at a slightly lower level, comes the marketing plan, which is the way in which the business will try to achieve what it wants to achieve in practice through its marketing effort. A marketing plan illustrates steps that will be taken in order to achieve marketing objectives. So the marketing plan, we can see it as it is very operational. It's setting out specific steps that needs to be taken in order to achieve the marketing objectives. Step 1, do the following. Step 2, do the following. Step 3, and so on. The aim of the marketing plan, well, anticipate expected results. So the marketing plan should have some objectives in terms of what it wants to achieve. Its objectives, it should clearly set out its objectives and what it wants to achieve. It should be clear to the reader, in this case the management of the business, after the step has been implemented, what is the likely outcome going to be? And of course we could imagine here performance indicators being set in place to see the extent to which the objective has been achieved. So preferably the outcomes are measurable, and if they're measurable, then the effectiveness of the plan can be measured, can be discussed, and it can be monitored. The plan should also state the resources that it needs, and should state how the resources will be utilized. In order to have a marketing plan implemented, the business will require some resources. The marketing section, the marketing department, will require resources. It'll require people, transport, machines, contacts, communication systems. It'll require effort. It won't just happen. Developing a marketing plan is good, but it'll just remain a marketing plan unless it is implemented. And to implement it requires resources. A breakdown of actions and delegation of roles and responsibilities is also required. Who's going to do what? The marketing plan should specify how the marketing initiative is going to be implemented, but it should also state who's going to do it, who's in charge, who does what, who's responsible for what areas, and a clear structure, if you like, personnel structure within the department related to the achievement of this particular marketing plan. A clear structure should be set out. Someone responsible for a certain area, someone responsible for a particular product, someone responsible for a particular set of clients, whatever it is, it should be clearly specified so that there is accountability. There should be some action planning, how it's actually going to work. Transport, how are we going to get people to visit the customers, what sort of marketing campaign will be undertaken, and so on. It should be monitored to see how effective it is, and there should be control. It should be fed back. The results of the monitoring should be fed back to the marketing department, senior personnel in the marketing department, and even senior personnel within the business, so that the whole process can be tweaked and monitored and changed as required to get more output, to get more effectiveness of the plan. So it's important that the monitoring process is put in place. And again, there may be performance indicators used here. Performance indicators may have said that by the end of week 4, a certain number of markets should have been contacted. Well, were they contacted? What was the result? So performance indicators may be used. Benchmarks could be set up. If you want to call them benchmarks as opposed to performance indicators, so be it. Benchmarks should be set up. Were the benchmarks achieved? Where was it achieved in the timescale that was set out by the plan? So monitoring is scrutinizing the plan to see the extent to which it achieved its objectives. According to Greenley, a marketing plan typically consists of the following elements. Typically, marketing plans should have the following. Should look at the marketing environment. It should look at the product, look at the target market. They should look at the attributes of the market, income levels, unemployment, concerns within that marketplace, consumption levels, demographic factors. Look at the whole set of relationships and characteristics of the market that's been targeted, and do some analysis on the likely success or failure, the likely match or mismatch of the product against that market. Look at the marketing objectives. What does the marketing objectives state? How much should sales be in a particular area? What's the objective? Set out a strategy. How should it be done? Should it be advertised in magazines, in the local press? Should it be face-to-face? Should it be door-to-door sales? How should the marketing be done? How should the product be presented in that marketplace? And how should consumers in that marketplace be convinced that by purchasing or acquiring this product, their satisfaction will be increased, their product satisfaction will be increased, they will have a better quality of life, they will have more enjoyment of life, this product is desirable. How are they persuaded of that? What are the tactics? The tactics perhaps to outwit the competitors. How will the product get into the market and how will it be maintained in the market? What's the uniqueness of the marketing plan? How will the business go about marketing the product that's different from what the competitors are currently doing? What's the program of action? Specify it in very practical terms. When will the marketing start within this area? How will it be managed on a day-to-day basis? What resources are required? How will the resources be made available? Who's responsible? It should be an exercise that's under control, but it should also be effective, and it should be at the right level to make an impact. So what is the marketing budget? If the budget is very small, then aspirations should be not too over the top. Aspirations should be moderate as well. If the marketing budget is large, then of course there's more luxury, there's more ability to bombard the particular market with information about the product, have demonstrations and exhibitions and media exposure and so on. So it depends on the marketing budget. The people should have personalities that are engaging and somehow fit with the product. The people should be enthusiastic about the product. The personnel who are going to be used in the marketing campaign should like working with this product. It should be a natural fit. It's not simply a job. It's not simply something they do for a salary or for a wage at the end. This is something that they do because they like doing it. They're enthusiastic. That's the best set of personnel for the task. And control. There should be overall control of the whole process. It should be structured in a way that there is, as I said earlier on, there is accountability. There is a chain of command, if you like, and there should be control. Each part of it should be monitored and capable of being monitored to make sure that it's all under control. The idea of performance indicators, as I mentioned earlier, perhaps they could be used right throughout to see how well different aspects of the plan are being implemented according to what was expected from that part of the plan. So, but control is important because failure any part of the plan may have knock-on effects to other parts of the plan, and it's a waste of resource unless it's corrected, unless there's intervention by management perhaps to resolve issues or bring about solutions. So control is very important. It should be controlled all the way through. The marketing plan is a direct link to longer-term strategic planning in the organisation. As I said at the outset, there is a linkage between strategic planning and marketing planning. The marketing plan is derived from the strategic plan. The strategic plan is about the whole organisation, where it wants to be, what it wants to do, how it's going to do it, and so on. And it specifies a time period. this should be achieved in the next 3 years or the next 5 years or whatever the time period that's required. And the marketing plan is how to present the product to the customers, how to widen sales, how to project the image of the business, how to satisfy customer requirements, and develop a reputation in the market as a high-end supplier. So the marketing plan fits with the strategic plan. It's derived from the strategic plan. The marketing environment provides an insight into the current market conditions. Of course, that insight that the marketing plan provides, which is based on the experiences of the marketing personnel who are involved in the market. They talk to customers and potential customers and clients of all sorts and companies and shops and so on. They have detailed knowledge of the market. They feed that back, and it could be fed back through the marketing plan, but they feed it back to the organization, and the organization is able to plan strategically more effectively as a consequence. So there is a feedback from the marketing effort into the strategic planning effort of the business. The marketing strategy provides a clear direction of plans. What are marketing strategies and how they link with organizational strategy? So the marketing strategy develops ideas about the market and what the market will require, what are customer requirements. They feed this back. The strategic plans are developed in order to develop products which will meet the customer requirements. That will facilitate the marketing process. So there is a linkage between all of them here. And central to all of that is the information that's been fed back by the marketing department. So the marketing strategies and organizational strategies must be linked. They are trying to achieve the same thing. The organizational strategy is trying to position itself in the market. It's trying to survive. It's trying to make a profit. And the marketing strategy is feeding back information to the company about the market, but also making efforts to ensure that the product of the market is well received by the customers. The marketing objectives is the process of setting functional objectives which are influenced by corporate objectives. So corporate objectives is what the business wants. The marketing department will try to see if that's possible, if the plans of the business meet with what they consider to be the same requirements as those of the market, perhaps in terms of product development, innovation, design, delivery, price. Then, having worked that out, it must go to the functional level. It must be implemented by the marketing department. The plan must be implemented. But the corporate objectives must also have a practical side which enables products, services to be completed as per the promises that the marketing department make in the marketplace. The promises in terms of quality, delivery, after-sales service, and that type of thing. Tactical marketing is directly linked to the marketing mix. This section of the marketing plan identifies strategies, tactics and procedures that will be adopted in meeting aims and objectives. So tactical marketing is, as I said, linked to the marketing mix. It's how to use the marketing mix to try to achieve best results. So the marketing plan identifies strategies, tactics and procedures that will be adopted in meeting the objectives of the business. So it tries to, the marketing plan it's quite strategic. It's looking at ways of deploying its resources, whatever the resources of the marketing section are, deploying its resources in a way that maximizes the return. Tactical marketing is analyzing from product development to brand building. So it's pointless just developing a product unless there is some feeling that the product is the requirement of the market. What is the point of developing a product, going through research and development and prototyping and manufacture, if there's been no market research, if there's been no feedback from the market? It may be, in that case, that all the effort is for nothing. So it's essential that product development is linked to the market. And ideally, tactical marketing is looking at product development that fits into niches in the market that are currently not satisfied or not satisfied adequately, and trying to build brands within the market so that there is product loyalty to the brand because the brand has a good reputation, it has a good quality. So the following are crucial elements in tactical marketing. The product. It's what the whole process is about. It's making the product and selling the product. It's as crude as that. But it's more sophisticated also because the product is itself the product of design and thought and entrepreneurship and careful development and testing and prototyping and careful development right the way through. All the time checking costs and checking that it's feasible and can be done at a certain price and it will have a place in the market. It's something that the product that the customers would want and would be willing to pay for. And of course, the input of the marketing section, who will have an expertise in the market, will know what the market wants because it can make observations from its travels in the market. Those observations and that feedback from the marketing section is crucial in the overall development of the product. Place. Well, where should it be marketed? Or what part of the country? Is it for the countryside, or is it for cities, or the coast, or inland, or where is it exactly? And what are the attributes of the product that make it useful in that area? And in fact, can the attributes of the product be tweaked so it could be sold in a wider area? What's the price of the product? Does it represent good value for money? Because that's what customers are interested in. And what sort of promotion? Advertising in magazines, billboards, face-to-face, door-to-door. How should it be promoted? Through marketing campaigns, perhaps giving discounts at the start, or promotional efforts at the start, running competitions, or how should it be promoted? And you'll see from here, of course, what we've got is the marketing mix, the 4 Ps: product, place, price, and promotion. In the marketing literature, as you'll be aware, there are now more Ps than simply 4, but we're just going to talk about these 4 and keep it at that in the context of this class. But bear in mind, the 4 Ps have been inflated to include more Ps. Tactical marketing. Well, let's look at the product. The product aspect relates to changes made to products or the product line. What strategies are in place to develop or improve existing products? Well, it's essential that the product be developed. Products have a product life cycle, and eventually they will go into decline. And customers will be happy with the product for a certain period of time, and after that they will look for something new, something different, because that's the way customers are. We like modernity, we like modern ways, we like new technologies and new functionalities and new design. So it's important that the product is constantly under review, and the review process ideally should include feedback from the market, suggestions from customers. Perhaps it could be running focus groups and having customers involved, just selecting customers, perhaps selecting them randomly from time to time and asking them to participate in questionnaires or interviews or in focus groups related to the product design, the desirability of the product, and so on. The product development techniques are key in this criteria. Marketers need to consider product strategies in order to continue meeting customer demand. So product strategies, how the product is marketed, the attributes of the product, all of these issues should be carefully dealt with by the marketers. They should have literature explaining the advantages of the product. The personnel who are dealing with the promotion of the product should be well trained in all aspects of the product and be capable of answering questions straight off without resorting to notes or whatever. They should be well trained in the use and the benefits of the product. Modification or launch of new or existing products needs to be in line with corporate objectives. So whenever products are changed, they must meet the corporate objectives. The business is, let's say, supplying consumer electronics. Well, if the modification takes it into soft furnishings, that's a different business. The product development has gone too far, if you like. So the corporate objective is to move the business into profitability and long-term stability and outcompete the competitors, get a greater market share, and so on. These are the corporate objectives, let's say. Well, development of new products should promote the business. It should promote the existing business in the marketplace. So the development of new products should project the business as innovative, as caring, as wishing to provide quality products that are innovative and desirable. The modification of products or the launch of new products that doesn't fit entirely with that may damage the brand. So for example, let's say the business has spent a lot of effort developing products which are high quality, and it's developed a brand which is known for its quality, and then for some inexplicable reason it develops some low-end products. Well, that can damage the brand. Customers are now confused. On the one hand, the products are very good quality, great reputation, good style, and on the other hand, the same company produces something which is not desirable, in a sense. These are low-end products, cheap, low quality. There's a contradiction. So it's important that new developments or modifications to existing products fit in with the corporate objectives. Price. Well, analysis of current channels of distribution methods and their effectiveness. It's important that, place I should say, not price. It's important that distribution channels are worked out carefully and efficiently. How does the business move its product from the final stages when it's been produced? How does it move its product into the marketplace? What are its distribution channels? Will it go through wholesalers and retailers, or will it go directly to the customer? How does it handle this? Now, that needs careful thought, because if too many institutions, if you like, too many organizations are involved when the product leaves the business, each one will need a markup. Each one will need its share of the profits. And that may cut down the returns to the business. It may also damage the business, because the objectives of the organizations buying it on, let's say retailers, when retailers get the product, they may not promote it very effectively. It may not be in a prime position in their shop. It may be on a high shelf where customers just see it and they don't really handle the product or get to see the product. Now, if that's the case, the retailers are not selling a lot of it. It's filling the shelf, so it makes the shop look full. But they're not selling the product, so the company is not selling because the customers are not buying. So there is a danger, if the distribution channels are not carefully worked out and monitored by the marketing department, that this could be dangerous for the business. Marketers need to consider other forms of intermediaries that may be beneficial in meeting marketing and corporate objectives. It's always the case that the marketing department should be looking for alternatives, should be looking for new channels, new ways of getting the product to the customer. The advent of the internet, for example, has facilitated many businesses in direct selling. So the manufacturer makes the product and then sells the product directly to the customer. The downside, of course, of that is the downside with the internet itself. The customers buy the product just from looking at some pictures on their monitor, on their screen. They don't actually get to see the product in practice. Unless, of course, they go to a shop that sells it, look ahead there, and then go home and order it online, which I suppose is not a very nice thing to do. Different intermediaries require different attention. So they have different intermediaries. If you're dealing with wholesalers or directly with retailers or whatever, there has to be cooperation between the various parts of the distribution channel. There have to be agreements between them about delivery, the price, the contract times for new deliveries. There has to be motivation. They have to be interested in the product. They have to be keen to get the product and move the product. And there also has to be good incentives, good markups, so the company produces efficiently, so that the next one in the distribution channel can make a profit by passing it on, keeping it moving. Promotion. Well, the promotional element in the tactical plan looks into the effectiveness of promotion strategies. Are current promotion techniques appropriate for the product, and do they effectively represent the brand? Well, looking at the promotional techniques that are currently used and look at the product, you could imagine fairly extreme examples. Let's say the product is some piece of farm equipment. Well, marketing that, or let's say advertising that, on television to the whole country may be silly. It may be undesirable. It may be too costly an exercise. Only a very small proportion of the population will be interested in that farm equipment. Farmers, for example, and even then, not all farmers, just some farmers might be interested in it. So having a blanket campaign across the whole country is a waste of resources. It'd be far better to look at that particular segment of the market that would be interested in the farm machinery and target them, even target them directly. Or at least get it into literature that's going to be read by them. Farmer magazines, farmer journals, and so on. So look at the current promotion techniques and see if they're appropriate for the product. And do they effectively represent the brand? Look at the techniques that are used. Look at the brand. If the brand is very high reputation, high quality brand, and people are starting to sell the product in village markets, on stalls in village markets, the brand has been damaged. This brand is high quality, high reputation, and now it's been sold from the back of a car. That's damaging the brand. Promotion considers the most cost-effective and efficient means of promotion, which has the most impact on customers. So the promotion has to be appropriate. It has to be done appropriately, so resources are not wasted. The farm example I gave earlier, or the brand problem, selling high quality, let's say watches, very high quality watches with a good established brand, but then taking the wrong distribution channel, selling them from the back of a motor car in a village market. That damages the brand. So the promotion needs to be done appropriately. It has to be done in a cost-effective manner and an efficient manner, but it has to take into account the reputation of the business, the reputation of the other products that the business makes as well. And it has to target the market appropriately. So the promotion should be ideally targeted at the likely customers. Farm equipment is most appropriately advertised amongst farmers, not advertised in cities. Price. The price element in tactical planning is concerned with modifying pricing strategies. So looking at pricing, certain levels of sales flow from certain pricing. Now, the pricing could be increased, the price of the product could be increased, or it could be reduced, or it could be kept the same. If the price is reduced, that might indicate to the customers that the business is not doing too well. Or it could indicate that perhaps there's something wrong with the business, or something wrong with the product, or the price could be linked to perceptions of quality. If now the product is very cheap, perhaps people will imagine it therefore to be low quality. So the brand is damaged. So getting pricing right is also a problem. Different pricing strategies are applied to different products and services. Now, products must be priced according to demand and the competition, and to the type of product and the quality. So working out the pricing for an item is not easy. It must take into account what the customers are willing to pay. It must also take into account the perceptions of quality. It must take into account the costs of production and profitability the business wants to make, the likely sales level, the break-even point. It must take many factors into account. So getting the pricing right is complicated. Marketers use a variety of techniques such as price discrimination, selling the same product at different prices in different markets at the same point of time. So a very high quality watch sold in London for one price, the same watch sold in some poor country at the same point of time might be a lot cheaper. It's the same watch, but it might be a lot cheaper. It's price discrimination. There must be physical separation of the markets, and there can't be reselling between the markets. People should not be able to go to the other country, buy a lot of watches and take them back to London and sell them cheaper than the existing outlets. So there's all sorts of pricing techniques, and these are dealt with in a separate video, but penetration pricing, price skimming, price fixing, and so on. There are many issues associated with pricing, but it is a complicated procedure in setting the price. And the role of the marketing department is crucial in trying to help out to determine what is the right price for this product in the market. What will customers pay? Now, a program of action. Well, the program of action is the stage of putting plans into action, documenting the strategies in place to follow the tactical marketing. So it's setting out the plans, how to put the plans into action. Once the plans have been agreed, once management have agreed the plans, there are a number of steps to be taken. Perhaps there are dates on which the steps must be completed. Now, put the whole program into action. So a program of action is required. Factors such as the time needed to be taken into consideration. Marketers need to set up schedules and allocate roles and responsibilities in order to achieve tasks. Who's going to be responsible for particular tasks? When will they be required? Where will they be required? Very detailed information. The program of action should specify what is required as precisely as possible. Could use critical path analysis and Gantt charts to show deadlines and schedules of activities. So techniques like Gantt charts are useful because just pictorially to look along and say, well, this activity is coming to an end, the next one needs to start now, and this one overlaps with that one, and these people are required here, and so on. There's an organization to the whole process, but there's a program of action that springs into place to implement the plans. The budget. Well, control of the budget is important. Like all budgetary processes, budgets should be adhered to. But there needs to be a clear indication of budget control, costs, and the allocation of resources. Once the budget has been agreed, it should be, all the activities should work within the budget. Clearly, the scale of the activity will be conditional upon the size of the budget. If the budget's large, there can be a big promotional activity. If the budget is small, it'll be small accordingly. A lack of financial resources is a major limitation, as plans will not follow through if they are insufficiently funded. So it's important that financial resources are in sufficient quantity, if you like. There should be sufficient financial resources to ensure that the plan is fully implemented. It's not just frustrating, but it's almost a waste if the plan is only partly implemented, because it may fail because of failure to follow up, failure to reinforce. So it's essential that the plan is implemented entirely. The marketing plan needs to account for budgets and costs. There needs to be a breakdown of cost centres and allocation of budgets. It's important that the whole process is monitored, it's controlled, and it also enables the whole marketing plan to be delivered. So the budgets should be sufficient, but they should also be controlled and monitored to ensure that they're being used efficiently and also kept within budget. There are three types of budgets. Operating budgets indicates budgets for a planned operation for a time period. Operating budgets, how many people are needed on the day, do they need transport, what communications do they need, what support do they need, where will they be, do they need to stay in hotels, and it's operating budget. It's implementing the plan. It's action, but it's operating and it needs a budget. There could be a capital budget. So it could be changes to the fixed plans, to the fixed assets, I should say. It could be that the plan requires new offices to be opened in a different area or in a different country. New offices means more capital, so there could be a capital aspect to the budget. And financial budgets, looking at predicted future uses of funds. How will funds be used in the future? How will the marketing initiative be carried forward in the future? A marketing plan mainly focuses on operational budgets. That's where the plan is aimed at. The plan is down to looking at the nitty-gritty, down looking at operational level, how to implement the business plan now, how to deliver the plan now. It's important that we have an idea that the marketing planning process is continual. Information is flowing back all the time from the market to the business, and it should be implemented. Okay, that's all we want to say about the marketing plan. I want to leave it at that and say thank you for watching.